What's the worst thing you saw a fellow soldier do to another service member? I was stationed at Fort Bragg in 2019 when this happened. Our platoon had two guys competing for the same promotion to sergeant, Private First Class Brandon and Private First Class Kyle. Only one slot was available, and whoever scored highest on the promotion board would get it. Brandon had been studying for months. This guy was serious about his career. Every night after duty, he'd be in the day room with his study guides, practicing board questions, memorizing regulations. He kept all his materials in his wall locker, practice tests, flashcards, a binder full of notes he'd been building for 6 months. Kyle wanted that promotion just as bad, but he wasn't putting in the work. He'd go out drinking while Brandon studied. Then he'd complain about how Brandon was a kiss-up and trying too hard. The promotion board was scheduled for a Friday morning. Thursday night, Brandon went to grab his study binder for one final review session. It was gone. His flashcards, gone. 6 months of notes, practice tests, everything he'd been using to prepare, completely missing from his locker. He tore apart his entire wall locker looking for it, asked everyone in the platoon if they'd seen it. Nobody knew anything. He was panicking because the board was in 12 hours and all his materials were gone. I helped him search everywhere, the day room, the company office, even checked the dumpsters outside. Nothing. Brandon barely slept that night, trying to remember everything without his notes. The next morning at the promotion board, Brandon did okay, but not great. You could tell he was rattled, second-guessing himself. Kyle went in after him and somehow did amazing. Answered questions perfectly, had all his general orders memorized, even knew obscure regulations that most people don't study. Kyle got the promotion. Brandon was crushed. He'd worked so hard and lost because his study materials mysteriously disappeared the night before. 2 weeks later, I was in Kyle's room helping him move some furniture. We lifted his mattress to move the bed frame, and there it was. Brandon's binder, wedged between the mattress and box spring. All the flashcards, all the notes, everything. Kyle's face went white when he saw it. He tried to play it off like, oh weird, how'd that get there? But we both knew exactly what had happened. I went straight to our platoon sergeant, Staff Sergeant Morris, told him everything. He had Kyle's room inspected, found all of Brandon's materials still hidden there. The investigation was quick. Kyle eventually admitted he'd broken into Brandon's wall locker 2 nights before the board and stolen the binder. He'd been using Brandon's own notes to study while Brandon was desperately searching for them. Kyle got busted down to private, lost 6 months of pay, and got transferred to a different unit. The promotion he'd stolen got taken away immediately. Brandon got offered the next available sergeant slot, which came up 3 months later. But here's the worst part. Brandon told me later that losing those notes didn't hurt as much as knowing someone he'd served with, someone he'd trained alongside for 2 years, would sabotage him like that. They'd been friends before the promotion competition started. Kyle threw away his career and his integrity for a promotion he couldn't even keep. Last I heard, he got out of the army with a general discharge and couldn't get a decent job because employers kept calling for references. Brandon made sergeant, then staff sergeant, and he's still in. Built his career the right way. Sometimes the worst thing someone can do to you ends up showing everyone who you really are.